Okay, well, welcome to the Creator Lab at NAB. The entire day here is devoted to exploring the building of the infrastructure that will fuel the next generation of broadcast, of entertainment, and of content. But when you see what's up next, I think you're going to be amazed. First of all, everybody knows the artist Rembrandt, right? But how many of you know Rembrand, the company you're about to meet? Rembrand, if I could just say it in buzzwords, let's talk AI, let's talk video product placement, and let's talk monetization. What they have built and just recently launched is pretty amazing. So I'd like you to meet David Wiener and give it up for him as he shows you the future of product placement.
All right. Good morning. We've got a crowd here, and I'm super excited to show you some stuff we've never shown before. And in the spirit of freestyling a little bit, I changed the name of the talk last minute to include TikTok because we're now working with TikTok as well. So let me just get started really quickly. I'm a media guy. I've been in the ad industry for a long time. We were at a conference in New York. It was an Ad Week conference about a year ago. And we asked the audience a question. We said, how many of you go home and pay to skip ads? And this is a room full of people who spend their lives getting paid to produce ads. And the entire audience raised their hands. And the reality is that interruptions suck. Interruptive ads suck. We all hate them. You can't hammer the skip button fast enough on YouTube. And we all do that. But we also look at that as sort of a missed revenue opportunity for people who are creating content. And the missed revenue opportunity is that when you get that impression, when you get that view that's coming in and looking at your content, if someone skips the ad, you don't get paid. And so the conversion from CPM to RPM can be pretty dramatic and is only getting worse. And you're seeing subscription services start to grow, right? So now anyone who's paying for YouTube will never see those ads, as an example. So we looked at this space and we said, okay, there's sort of like a conundrum, which is if you're a creator, you can either get paid by a brand to do sponsorships and sort of sell your soul and do ad reads and, create all of this monetization, or you can build integrity, and build your audience. But it's really hard to do both naturally. And there's this tension in between those two things. And we felt like it didn't have to be, that way. We felt like there was an opportunity to create a new ad format, a new way to monetize content, that didn't substitute what you did with getting paid with, pre-roll ads, didn't substitute what you did with going and selling a sponsorship. Well, it was net new. It was found money. It was additive. And so that's what we're up to at Rembrand. And I'm super excited to show you what we're up to specifically. I'm going to play a quick, video, CJ, and, we'll get into the details, but this is just a quick trailer of what we do over at Rembrand. So we basically have created new ad inventory through the physical space that's in people's scenes. That's naturally there on tables, on walls, and we don't require you to ship product. We don't require you to do, talk about the product. It's all post-production. And so we basically see this as an opportunity for a very light lift to monetize, without having to do, the kind of normal things you would have to do with a sponsorship. We use a very specific type of AI that we've developed, which I'll talk about, called generative fusion, which takes real world scenes and fuses real world sort of physical traits of products into those scenes. And we think this is really exciting new way to monetize, content. It's not your typical sponsorship. I talked about this a little bit. But when you think about a typical sponsorship, a creator has to interact with a product. They have to do these awkward ad reads right in the middle of their content. They're cutting to a different part of their video. It's not interruptive like pre-roll. It's part of the content. Doesn't require reshooting. So it's all post. And what's interesting, and we'll talk about this also, is that, audiences love this format. They really embrace this kind of format where they understand that the creators they're engaged with have to make money, but it's also not pissing off the consumer who's watching the content. We think of this as creating meaningful repeat revenue. So it's really low effort for a creator. It's incremental, I talked about as well. It's consistent, so you can come back week after week or day after day and get monetized. And we think there's zero compromises. You don't have to say no to anything else. When we look at things like, brand exclusivity, it's for the video level. We're not doing long-term sponsorship deals where you have, category takeovers and things like that. We just ask that, if you're doing Lenovo, you don't have a MacBook in front of you, at that time. And you see the creators actually post about this. This is a tweet from Shelby Church. She's seeing direct monetization. So what she sees on her channel is essentially, whatever she's making on AdSense or AdWords through pre-roll, she's getting the equivalent through Rembrand. So she looks at this as like for every view, it's now monetized at twice the rate as it was before. The other thing that's really, really cool about this, you see creators, again, we don't pay for this. This is them on social talking about what we do with them. They feel like they're able to be true to themselves. They feel like they're genuine, that they're not selling out to, the highest paid brand advertiser that comes and makes them talk about something unnatural. In this example, Bubbly's in the background. And just as a note, like the technology is pretty good. It's pretty photorealistic. This example is a little small. But you can see all of the occlusion and everything that's happening automatically, as a result of putting that Bubbly poster in the background there. We think that this is additive, like I said before. So, if you look at sort of this funnel, pre and mid-roll, doesn't require work, right? You publish content and you get monetized. It's high frequency, so it happens on every video. And there's sort of like a base level revenue opportunity that content, gets monetized at. And then at the bottom of the funnel, it's a pretty heavy lift for creators and editors to deal with scripted ad read content. They have to go sell a sponsorship. They have to be able to go, kind of make sure that the sponsor's happy, maybe go back into studio, and reshoot things. And it's lower frequency. So you have to balance this opportunity to basically say, I'm not sure that I can do this on every video because, I might be seen as losing audience as a result of having all of this monetization. We feel like we fit somewhere in the middle, right? Where it's a lighter lift. It's much higher frequency than having to go and sell directly to a sponsor and then do an ad read, or a pod of ad reads on every video. And it sort of takes that base revenue. And for most creators, we see it, double. And the way that economics work, is we sell on a CPM. So what's nice about that is for videos that have upside, that go viral or that get more views than you might anticipate, our interests and the creator's interests are directly aligned. So we sell on a CPM. As your views go up, your monetization goes up. Brands are used to buying that way. And one of the reasons we structured it this way is that in the sponsorship world, you're tapping into sponsor budgets, and those sponsor budgets relative to media budgets are tiny, right? And you have to do all of this hoop jumping to deal with, what brands want. And for the media budgets, they want to basically scale. And so we align to those and sell into those media budgets. And that's how we sort of, work with creators. This is just an example list of some of the creators we work with. We build a network, so we partner with creators. United Talent Agency is an investor. We work with WME. We work with CAA. We work with sort of global talent agencies, to sign creators up to our network. And what that really means is we give them a login to the platform. They have an opportunity, if they want to monetize with us, to upload content to us after they edit and before they publish. That's really it. There's not like a commitment beyond that. This is some examples of what this looks like for various brands we're working with. You can see, the deep integration with some of these brands. And part of what we do is we get out of the endemic content world. So L'Oreal is a big client of ours, and they already have the creator network for beauty influencers. They don't need us for that. They have those relationships directly, but they understand that audience is available outside of watching beauty content, and they come to us for the non-endemic creators where they don't have the time or the expertise to source them directly. From a content perspective, I don't know how many folks here are kind of in the editor space. This is more sort of technical. We see what we do is basically creating inventory out of blank space in the scene. So we ask for today, fixed camera. We want at least 60 seconds. We don't need the entire video to be fixed camera, but we want to be able to have an opportunity to place something on a wall or a table, that's fixed camera. For now, the tech works best with indoor lighting. We obviously need brand safe content, and we run a pretty extensive brand safety check on everything we do. And we've built extensions for Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro. So for editors who want to make this part of their workflow, it's a couple of clicks of a button. It goes to our platform. And this week we're starting to showcase something really interesting around self-serve that I think is new to the industry that's never been done before. So the creators or editors who are using the tech don't have to talk to us on a video by video basis. They click a button in Premiere. It goes to our platform. They can place objects. I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. So from a content perspective, this is what we're looking for is ideal. And you can see some examples here of the kinds of opportunities. You can put posters on the wall. You can put posters. Brands really like posters that have 3D components where, a can or an object pops out of the wall. Or obviously anything that's a flat surface you can put objects on as well. I'll show you some examples here. You've seen some of these, just like a, content reel of how this fits in and gets integrated into content. So use L'Oreal as an example. We did some work for Virgin Galactic. You can see Bubbly on the table. That's actually a fake table. We put the table there also. Bubbly wanted their brand on top of the cans. Mark Pritchard from P&G wanted to be able to show a stain, so we put a stain on someone's shirt and then erased it. Garnier, we put some shelves on the walls. This is a poster for them in a couple scenes. Kind, again, posters. They really want to be part of the content. We're in the content for minutes and minutes and minutes. So it's really integrated. We put a Bubbly on a shelf. We do disclosures here as well. It's part of what we do for FTC. Accommodating those requirements. Some of the 3D objects are quite photorealistic. This is an example of the 3D poster that pops out of out of a wall. I don't know what those guys are looking at, but, you can see it's sort of unlimited opportunities for us to integrate. And we see this as sort of unlimited inventory, and sort of brands. We've done some work with QR codes, where people can take their phones out and actually scan 3D objects that have a QR code directly on them. But this gives you a sense of the kind of work that we're able to do. And again, not all of it is endemic, to the category that the advertiser, is working on. The interesting thing about this, I think, is that this isn't just something that brands enjoy. This is actually also something that we see audiences really give us great feedback on. So I just want to pause here for a second. If you read some of these quotes, we're not paying for these quotes. These are quotes that are put at the bottom of videos by consumers who are engaged with this content. You couldn't pay for this. When we show brand managers this, they love it. These comments are there forever. And what's interesting about this from a creator perspective is that comments drive the engagement algorithms. And so we see when we put a poster on the wall and then something pops out of the poster, people notice it and they comment on it, and those comments help get the algorithms to understand that these videos are engaging and boost them. And so this is like a rising tide lifts all boats scenario where you've got the ability to actually drive engagement for a video and get monetized and not interrupt consumers. We work with pretty big brand name advertisers. That's part of our heritage of what the company is. This is, a pretty experienced founding team. And, we come from the advertising world. The creator world is actually a little bit newer for us. But we have really deep brand relationships. And so we go and sell to those big media budgets. And so for creators who might be in that mid-tier where they're not the Mr. Beasts of the world, but they want some monetization and they want to be able to show that they've been able to work with big brands, this is a really good opportunity to have a video that is sponsored by a pretty big brand without having to do the legwork to get in front of that brand directly. And we see audiences realizing that and recognizing that. We see audiences commenting on videos and saying, wow, this is really cool that you're sponsored by L'Oreal. I can't believe you got that sponsorship. And these might be videos with 10, 20, 30,000 views. These are not huge, big hitter videos. But that fat midtail of creators who might not have the wherewithal to just go get those brand relationships can get that engagement through us. I'll talk quickly about the tech. All of the tech is built in-house. I know there's probably a ton of content this week about generative AI and AI and AI and AI. We don't use anything off the shelf. Everything we've built internally. And just quickly on this, not to go too deep on it, but the idea here is that a lot of the generative stuff that you've used is sort of fantastical, right? You create a new scene of a unicorn on a snowy mountain, and everything's rainbow colored. And that's sort of easy to do for generative models. They can hallucinate, and that's not a big deal. We have to take a photorealistic scene where we don't know anything about the lighting, the camera angles, the surfaces, consistency across cameras, and we have to basically recreate that scene and generate a light map, generate occlusion maps, generate depth maps, understand normals, so that we can create a 3D scene out of a 2D image, essentially, and then drop a 3D model into it. And this didn't exist before Rembrand. And so this is just a quick example of some of the stuff that we do. So we do 3D understanding of your video. So we understand sort of like what's happening in the scene, what's the geometry. We create geometry on the back end. We create masks. We create a 3D lighting map that understands, per pixel what the lighting is. And that allows us to put models that we've created for a brand directly into the scene and to allow that to look good. One of the things that's new for us is that we've actually started to externalize this and make it self-serve. And so this is brand new, but we've taken all of this technology and packaged it into a UI for creators and editors. So when they use our plugins, what they're able to do is actually then come to our web app and see their videos essentially in 3D. So here's an example of what that looks like. You can see, a starry poster, which doesn't seem super impressive, except when you understand that occlusion is built into it. All of the surfaces and normals are built into it. And so as you drag and resize things around, you're actually able as a creator and an editor to bring the 3D world into your 2D world around video, place objects here, and as you go through this flow, we'll actually render down for you an RGBA mask that you can import back into your product or your project, and then render down the full video with us in it or with the brand in it. So we think this is really cool. I don't think this has been done before. And this really brings the foundational AI tech that we've built into one place that's easy to use, that doesn't require specialized skills, and allows you to really take advantage, not just of an interesting AI tool, but of a tool that gives you monetization. The other thing that's sort of fun about this tool, we'll see where this goes. But for non-monetized use cases, we'll allow people to upload artwork, right? So if you want to change your set, if you want to put a 3D model on if you have a 3D model of your dog, you can put it on your desk. If you have, a Picasso that you want to put in your background and sort of decorate things, we'll do that. You'll be able to choose animations, and render it down. It'll look photorealistic. The lighting will look great. The occlusion will look great. And so you can sort of decorate with this, not just monetize. It's really easy to get started. We have a wait list at app.rembrand.com. When you're registered and we approve you off the wait list, you use one of our extensions. You get access to upload to our tool. We have a library of 3D objects that you can use that are branded and that pay you a CPM when you run them. And we're working on allowing you to upload your own posters. We'll create frames for you and then eventually 3D objects as well. And then you essentially run those videos and get paid. So if you didn't hear anything I just said for the last 20 minutes, these are the three things that matter. You can insert in-scene media into your post-production video content. It's a non-interruptive way to have relationships with really big brands. And we think it's a complement to monetize your existing your other existing monetization opportunities. You can scan this. We have a little landing page you can go to. You can email me directly. You can get in touch with us. We'll be hanging around here, and then I have a session at around noon, where we'll go deeper on Rembrand's AI studio and can answer lots of questions. But we're here today and happy to chat. Thank you.
Very interesting.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm
appreciate
Chad.
it. Nice to meet you. Where are you based? We're in the Bay Area.
Oh, cool. I'm down in Santa Monica.
Okay.
I'm doing lots of high-end content, mostly in the audio sphere.